it's okay if we take a step back and breathe a little bit and do things a little differently. I've discovered a whole new palette, a whole new of exciting roles, of exciting music that I'm again very passionate about. I've always been passionate about what I do.
Good morning, Laura. It's so lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
Hi, Petra. It's really nice to meet you too.
Where are you based at the moment?
I am in Bucharest, Romania.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, I'm Romanian American.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in the United States, and after the fall of communism, my parents and all of us, we came back to Romania, and we've been here. Well, ever since, but I left. I went to school here, and by my parents, when we moved here, my parents said, which school is closer to where we live? And it was the music school. But I don't believe in coincidences.
No.
I believe that everything happens for a reason. So my sister and I went to the music school. I went to the music school and my sister to ballet school. And I took violin. I was not talented at all.
Really?
I didn't enjoy it, but it helped me very much with my musical ear. So that was definitely a plus. And in high school, I took singing, and then I went to the conservatory. And then right after that, I left for Vienna, where I was hired at the opera as a soloist.
I read that, and you were quite young when you came.
I was 24.
Mm.
I was 24, and I was young. I was passionate. I was, when I was here, I had every penny that I had, I would save to buy books or to buy CDs, books related to singers or to composers or to music in general. I was always very passionate about music and about research in general. I listened to so much music, and I actually grew up listening to classical music because my parents had the vinyl records.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they had Mozart symphonies and Beethoven and Hermann Prey and Elizabeth Schwarzkopf. It was wonderful. Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau was wonderful to listen to. So I grew up with that passion for listening to music. And all of a sudden, I'm in Vienna and looking around myself and seeing that the people that I was listening to on these CDs were now in front of me.
Wow.
It was incredible because I was so passionate back then and so excited, and I was a dreamer.
Yeah.
And then I got to Vienna and I was living that. I was living that dream and that passion. It was incredible to find myself in that position.
Yeah. And I think it's also fulfilling in a way if you think this was the dream and now you're here, and it's
Absolutely. It is fulfilling, but up to a point, because once you get there to see your dream right in front of you, then you go the next step and you have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because no amount of talent, of passion, of love for something, it will only get you so far.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. And that means countless hours on your own, practicing, working with your teacher, working with pianists, working with your colleagues, stage direction, all of that, getting the language in place, reading and understanding who the character is that you're trying to play. There's so much work that sits behind a performance. That's the end result, the performance, the end result of what has been happening up until that point. Because with every performance, hopefully there's a development.
Yeah.
There's a growth with every performance. But behind the performance that any member of the audience comes and sees, there's so much work from us, from everyone backstage, starting with makeup artists, with inspicients, with everyone carrying the decor. There's so much work, so much work, and so many people necessary to put together 3 hours or 2 or of a performance. It's so much work, but it's gratifying. It's very gratifying.
But I think this is, well, I spoke during lockdown also. I did interviews with artists from all over the world, and we raised this question, or this topic, where it's like what we see is like you say, it's the 3 hours, or that's the performance, and you go home and oh, it's wonderful and so on. But before these 3 hours, it's not just the rehearsal time, but it's also the lifespan of the artist who, dedicated, like you say, you went to a music school, so it started there, and then it's that development, and it's all this input and all this. You bought the CDs and you listened, and it's all the time that you spent.
It all plays a part.
Yeah, and we don't take always that into consideration. And it's not, it's not that you want to look at a performance and necessarily think it, but I think you have to value the arts for that. You have to value the artist and the art because of that time frame that's involved in producing these 3 hours.
It's a part of it, definitely, but our goal in the end is that when we're on stage, to transmit some sort of emotion, to transmit as clearly and as honestly as possible a story.
Yeah.
And whether I've always thought that whether someone leaves happy or sad or angry or frustrated from a performance, they leave feeling something.
Yeah.
And I think this is what opera, what music will do in general. It should, I believe, find that deep place within the person listening as much as possible and create some sort of emotion. We come to the opera to feel.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It has to do with that, and it doesn't always have to do with I think this whole idea of, I understand some artists are stars, but I think it's more about the art than it should be about the stars.
Absolutely. I believe that a lot of the people I've sung with, so many wonderful, incredible artists who have had immense careers, who were so incredibly humble. Someone like Krasimira Stoyanova. I made my debut in Vienna as Susanna with her.
Really?
It was incredible. She was such an example of what an artist should be, and an example of humility. There was no aura of stardom around her. And it was the same with Ferruccio Furlanetto. When we did the premiere of Boris in Vienna, he was wonderful. He was an incredible artist on stage, and backstage so humble. And I remember speaking to him about singing and about all sorts of things, and he was so kind. And I was a newcomer, and he didn't need to speak to me, but he spoke to everyone. And I remember so clearly during those performances because his singing is absolutely unbelievable. It's so impressive. The same with Stoyanova. But I had a scene where I was supposed to embrace him. I was singing Senya, his daughter. And I remember I didn't embrace him all around. I embraced him so that I could feel him here, so that I could understand how he breathes.
Oh, really?
And he sings.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. It was incredible. And I think that the biggest artists are also, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are very, very humble. They know who they are, but they don't feel the need to show it in a way that that is not that takes away from the art.
Yeah. But now tell me, in Romania, how is the scene? What is the scene there, and how much opportunity are there for singers?
Well, there are theaters in a lot of the main cities in Romania. The reason I came back here, it was during the pandemic, and my husband and I, we got engaged during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. And we got married during the pandemic.
Oh, wonderful.
And we had a baby during the pandemic. So things happened quite quickly. But we said we were in Munich, because after Vienna, I went to Munich, and I was there for a few years, and I was in the theater fest for about 5 years, and I guested there afterwards. And but once the pandemic hit, everything stopped. Everything stopped, and it really made me think long and hard, because it's a horrible thing what happened.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing, but that's not to say that there was no good that came out of there. There definitely was, because I think for every person, it's a very particular experience. My personal experience was that I was given the gift of time. I could practice, I could study things, I could study new rep without being kind of racing against the clock. When am I going to study this for the next thing that's coming? When am I going to study this? And I had that all of a sudden. And it was quite a relief to have that. And also it makes you think that in any second you could lose everything. Everything. And taking it a step further, you realize what really matters in life and how to prioritize things. And the fact that I came out of the pandemic with a family,
yes,
to me was the most beautiful and fulfilling thing yet. And I've had wonderful experiences in my career, really, that I'm so grateful for. But when your personal life is also on in a good place, in a profound place, it makes everything better. It makes everything easier. And that's why we left, to get back to that, because it's so easy to develop the subject and to go in all sorts of different places.
But it's so interesting. Yeah.
We said everything stopped. We are far away from our families. My husband is Swedish, so his family is in Sweden. My family is here. And we chose Romania. Romania. My husband loves it here. And I'm so impressed with him, because he's also a singer, a fantastic tenor. We met at the Bayerische Staatsoper singing a world premiere in the festival.
Really?
And yes, it was.
So it was love at first singing.
Yes, you could say that. You could definitely say that. But we spoke a lot. We spoke a lot, and we got to know each other quite a bit, and that was very helpful to both of us.
Yeah.
So we decided to come to Romania. He loves Romania, and I'm very impressed with him because he speaks the language
Wow.
very well, very, very well, and it hasn't been long. It hasn't been long, so
He
he's
must love you very much, really.
he does, and it goes both ways. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful. I'm very grateful to have this part of my life fulfilled. It's a wonderful feeling.
But now this is very interesting because you are now a mum, and your life is now a little bit different than it was before. So there's a lot of consideration now. You can't just think for yourself where you're going to sing and what about your career. So
I love this question. I love this.
This is a great transition.
This is incredible. I never thought I'd be a mother. First of all, I said if it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay. I think I'm fine with that. I'm so glad that God did not listen to me when I said, it's okay if not.
Okay.
Because I would have missed out on the most beautiful thing.
Oh,
The most beautiful.
You give me goosebumps again.
It's incredible. Indeed, before having a family, I made all the decisions for myself. I would get a phone call. Do you want to do this? Or what do you think of this or this? And I would make the decisions according to how I felt. After our daughter was born, things really change. There are so many things that need to be taken into consideration, not only for me, but for my husband as well. He's now in France. He's doing a production of Salome in Aix-en-Provence. And whenever he gets an offer, we always talk about it. And it's the same here. How are we going to do this? And it's very different now. It's very different because now we won't see him for 2 months. And it's how it is. It's how it is. And when our daughter was 1 month old, he left and he was away for 3 months. And we manage. We speak every day. I now have, I will be recording 2 CDs, and one will be here, fortunately, but another will be in Italy. And it's all about the planning. When do we rehearse? How do we rehearse? Do we go there? When we go there, do we all go together? And we have to plan and find this. And there's so many details. And I think I've taken on very different projects for the moment because I want to be able to be there for our daughter as much as I can.
That's wonderful that you think that way, because I think it's also maybe the pandemic also taught us that things it's okay sometimes to slow down a little bit, and it's okay to focus on other things sometimes, and I think also when it comes to children, we don't realize, but they're with us for such a short time.
Exactly.
Or our responsibility for such a short time that that it's good to do something else.
Exactly. I mean, I've done this for 17 years so far, and my daughter will know what I've done, and she'll see recordings, and I put posters at home and programs and all sorts of things, but these will matter less to her. To her, it will be more important, was I around? Or how we spent our time together when we were together. And I think that's what really matters. To me, I mean, it's different to everyone. And there's a different dynamic in every family that functions. This is what I'm learning now for myself, because being a new mother, I'm discovering a lot of things, and I'm learning from her a lot. I'm learning so much about love, but really, really, I use this word because it means a lot. Profound love. Profound love. And it's the most honest thing possible. I'm yeah.
And you know, it's like you say, it's your husband is also in this industry, so there's this understanding between you, and you know, working together and planning everything together. This is wonderful that you can do that, you know, and that you are. Yeah,
I'm very grateful for it. And he's not only do we plan things together, but there's a mutual support amongst ourselves. If there's something that either of us really wants to do, we'll support each other and make it happen somehow. So that we don't lose the family dynamic, that we do manage to see each other and be together at the right times.
yeah. But this is so exciting. I always think I always miss the time I had with my children when they were babies, you know, that you can just hold them, and life is just so different when they're so you know, when they're still little babies. You can hold them.
They're growing so fast. It's incredible. I take pictures all the time, and I can see from one week to another how things change. It's really incredible. I'm very fortunate that my mother lives so close.
Oh yeah.
She lives so close to us, and she's been incredible in helping. I'm very grateful for that.
I used to sit and cry when the clothes that doesn't fit in you don't fit anymore, and they go on to the second age, and then you sit with these, and then I would sit and cry when I put them away, because they grow so quick.
Indeed.
But now, but tell me now, what are your wishes for the future?
My wishes for the future. Well, it's funny because this pandemic has given me a lot of time to do more research, to think a lot, to feel, to allow myself to feel certain things, in the sense that it's just as you say, it's okay if we take a step back and breathe a little bit and do things a little differently. I've discovered a whole new palette, a whole new of exciting roles, of exciting music that I'm again very passionate about. I've always been passionate about what I do, but I'm going from one thing to another, but I was speaking to my sister, and apropos repertoire and things, and knowing, because when you love certain types of music, it's wonderful. But my sister said, don't do what you love, do what you're good at. In other words, that could also translate, don't do what you love, do what loves you.
Oh yeah.
And I resonated with that. It was something she had read, I think, from the author Cal Newport, and I resonated very much with that, because a lot of the times I would think, oh, I love this role so much. When I was young, I wanted to do Traviata, I wanted to do Mimi, I wanted to do these sort of things, and then I realized they're not suited for me.
Oh yeah.
And I realized that it's okay if something is not right for me. It's okay. That was a big lesson that I had to learn, because oftentimes I would feel, oh, there's something wrong with me if that's not right. Then I realized, no, it's okay. It's okay if not everything can be suited to us. This is why we each have our own voice. We each have our own voice, that with which we can send a message. And sometimes we have our voice. I mean, we use our voice, we use our bodies, we use our heart and our mind. It's a whole that we have to use. And if there's something where we can't send it further, a message further, it's okay. If there are people who can send it better, they should do that.
Yeah.
They should be the ones to do that. I think every artist should find what's best for them. I really do. And for me, that was an incredible liberation. Incredible, because sometimes we get so tight thinking, what does the world expect of us?
Exactly.
And then we expect that of us, but it's not what we necessarily want. Or maybe it's something that we want, and we think we should be able to do, but then when reason hits, it's wonderful. It's wonderful because you can just let go and have the courage to be who you are, have the courage to be disliked. That's also a thing, because we want to be liked by everyone, but we can't. When that acceptance comes, it makes it easier. It really makes it easier. Things are not always pink and wonderful in this art. The art in itself is wonderful. It's wonderful. But all musicians, and I think without exception, deals with difficulties, deals with rejection, deals with some sort of fear. Some deal with severe anxiety. I know I went through that. And you learn to deal with it, but it's not easy. Apropos what we were saying, what sits behind the artist. Yeah. This is also part. This is my personal experience. Not everyone goes through anxiety. That's not. But it can be a part, and it was for me. And once I realized that's what I was going through, it helped a lot, because acceptance brings so much.
Yeah.
It really, really does. So I'm grateful for that.
And, I think also social media has brought, many positive things. But the one thing is this comparison, where people think everybody has to do everything the same way. And it's true what you're saying, not everything is for everybody, and I think this is great if you can accept that, I'm also, this platform is not for everybody, and I accept it, but there will be somebody who would be interested in what people are saying.
Resonates with it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm happy with that,
I see it as an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity to do something in a different way, to do something my way. And hopefully it will, even if, as you say, it will resonate with someone. And the people it doesn't resonate with, they don't have to, it doesn't have to. It's okay. It's okay. And it doesn't mean that anything is wrong on either side. It just means that it's not for me. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But when it is, it's incredible. I don't think there's one single recipe for all artists. I don't. And that's what makes what should make each artist beautifully unique.
Yeah. Well, this is so true. And it's like I spoke to a musician who, she was in bed for 6 years with an illness, and she questioned her value, and then she thought of a baby, and she thought of how valuable do we see a baby who cannot do anything, who can just be a baby. And she thought, if we can value a baby so much, then she also has value, and that everything you do on top of that is wonderful, you know, and it's yeah. So I always think of that, what she said, that just we just all have a value with everything we do, you know, even if we don't always think it's valuable, but we do have a value.
I think we lose that sight when we, just as you said, when we start comparing ourselves.
Yeah.
And indeed, I mean, social media doesn't help with that. In that sense, it has so many pluses. Social media has so many pluses because a message can get out so quickly, and that's a very good thing. But when we take it personally, somehow to see, oh, that's happening in that person's life, that's happening in that person's life, it's not happening in my life, that means I'm no one. It's not like that at all. But we need to find the things for ourselves that are meaningful. Whether we decide to post about it, to write about it, to speak about it or not, we need to have them first and foremost, to find them for ourselves.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anyone else does. Because everyone is entitled to their own happiness.
Yeah.
So are we. So comparing ourselves is not going to bring that.
No, definitely.
That's not the place to look for it.
You have the most wonderful insight. Really, I
don't know about that, but
yeah, no, honestly, this is wonderful.
It's easy to get caught in this trap of comparing yourself, and I've been in that trap. I'm not saying now that I don't fall in that. I fall much less. I'll say that I fall much less in that, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, I think sometimes when you hold that baby in your arms, you just don't care what's happening or what.
Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters.
I always felt that way, but
incredible.
But Laura, tell me now just one more thing. Can you do a shout out for a restaurant or a coffee shop there in Bucharest? I've never been to Romania. Yeah, tell me, where do you go to? What's your favorite coffee shop? Or your favorite restaurant? Coffee. Oh, your favorite restaurant?
Favorite restaurant. If I'm perfectly honest, my favorite restaurant is my mother's cooking.
Oh, okay. That's great.
But that being said, there are a few places that are with traditional Romanian food.
Yeah.
And those are the places where people usually go, tourists, when they come, because it's exciting. It's traditional Romanian cuisine. You have violinists and you have singers singing folk music at these places. It's loud, but it's quite an experience. I can definitely take a photo.
Yes. Yes,
absolutely.
Name a place, and then I'll tag them in the description of the video.
I will do that.
I'll do that. I'll do a link of there. So, which place can you name a place?
Well, there are a few, but I think the most popular, so to say, is called Hanul lui Manuk. It means Manuk's manor.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of it's in a medieval style. It's really interesting.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I will do that, and I will put their link. You'll just have to write me their name, please.
I will do that. Okay, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Bucharest is beautiful, but there's also a lot of traffic, and Romania is a stunning country, and I think maybe not a lot of people know that we have mountains up in the center of the country in the north, and we have the sea. We have the Black Sea in the south, and we have the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. We have the best of both worlds, and the countryside is, through its simplicity, breathtaking.
Really?
Because all you need to see is the sunset. My father is a photographer.
Okay.
And he takes many beautiful pictures of especially churches and monasteries in the country, but also landscape images. And you see a sun setting over a hill, which when I say it, it doesn't sound so exciting, but it's breathtaking. And for a moment, time seems to stand still. And there are so many parts of that everywhere in the country. So I'm very proud.
Yes,
I'll
have to come and visit Romania. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love that. If you do, you have to tell me.
I will definitely. Yeah. But Laura, this was so lovely to talk to you. And
I enjoyed this thoroughly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and hold your baby any possible moment that you can, because that goes away so quickly that you can do that. And I wish you all the best for all the projects that you are doing.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to a lot of beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Petra. This was wonderful.
You're welcome. Me too. You too. Okay, Laura. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.